The Hamas attacks on Israel were subhuman. They were barbaric. They were medieval. They deserve to be condemned, and Israel has an absolute right to defend itself, and the U.S. should diplomatically support Israel's right to do so. Unfortunately, in this country, we have some pretty idiotic students on college campuses, from New England Ivy League colleges all the way down to the state of Florida. You have students in supposedly pro-Palestine groups that have placed the blame at Israel's feet. That is backwards. It is wrong. It is offensive. At the same time, in this country, the United States of America, we have a right to free speech. I saw that earlier this week, in recent days, Governor Ron DeSantis in Florida, a government actor, sent a message to the state universities via the person who's in charge of certain of those state universities that they would require the disbanding of pro-Palestinian student groups. These student groups are dead wrong in their beliefs. But part of what it means to live in the United States of America, part of what makes us different from them, from the Hamases and the terrorists of the world, part of what makes us different is that we do embrace the free and open exchange of ideas. And free speech means nothing if it's just about protecting the speech we agree with. Free speech rights are really about protecting the speech we disagree with most. Now, I've been preaching this message to the left for a long time. Left-wing cancel culture has gone off the rails in the last 3 years in this country. Certain things you can't say about the BLM movement, they would say, or else censor you. Certain things you can't say about whether the COVID-19 virus began in a lab in Wuhan. Certain things you can't say even about the vaccines, even when we knew about risks before they were rushed out. Truth depends on free speech and open debate. And you know what else depends on it? Peace. If you tell people they can't speak, that's when they scream. If you tell people they can't scream, that's when they tear things down. Our founding fathers understood that, and we have to understand it today. So though I've preached this message to the left, and even the likes of Governor DeSantis happily joining me in that crusade, we have to practice what we preach when it comes to the speech we disagree with as well. So are those student groups wrong for expressing their views? Yes, they are. Absolutely, but we're not going to convince them or change their minds or anything else if we adopt their terroristic methods in return by telling them they have to disband and can't exist, especially when it's a government actor doing it. It's a First Amendment violation. This isn't a politically popular position for me to adopt right now as a Republican presidential candidate. But I'm in this race to speak the truth, not just when it's easy, but when it's hard. That's what it's going to take to revive our national identity as Americans. And you know what it means to be an American? You know what the First Amendment says? Whether or not I agree with you, you get to speak your mind in the open, and you can't recharacterize someone's speech, just their opinion, their statements, as material support for a terrorist group. We made those kinds of mistakes after 9/11 in this country, the Patriot Act, and countless pieces of legislation that followed that we should regret today. And I don't care whether you're on the right or the left. We have to stand by those American principles that respect our Constitution, that respect our Bill of Rights, and respect that First Amendment, the idea that you get to speak your mind as long as I get to in return. And I do think that's a difference of opinion that we have amongst the various candidates in this Republican primary.